We're going to talk about something that's a huge contradiction, a real paradox, right at the heart of the creator economy. See, on one hand, you've got this promise of freedom, of making a fortune. It's never been bigger. But on the other hand, the risk of just completely burning out has become a full-blown epidemic. And I mean, the opportunity is just staggering. We're talking about the digital information industry. You know, the playground for all of us creators. It's now valued at a mind-blowing $400 billion a year. And get this, it's still growing. It's like a modern-day gold rush, but for people who work with their brains. But, and here's that paradox I mentioned, for all that incredible opportunity, a shocking 79% of creators say they're experiencing burnout. Just let that think in. That's almost 4 out of every 5 people trying to make a go of it in this space who feel totally and completely overwhelmed. So this all leads to a really critical question. Maybe the most critical question for any of us trying to build something online today. How do you actually win? How do you grow your business without just becoming another statistic, another casualty of this burnout crisis? All right, let's really get into it. To figure this out, we've got to understand the specific things, the pressures that are fueling this whole crisis, because it's not just about working hard, right? It goes deeper. It's about the very unique psychological weight that comes with being a digital entrepreneur. Now, this is really interesting. Check out how these core pain points break down. The stressors are split pretty evenly. So, you've got financial stress leading the pack at 37%. That whole feast or famine income thing is a huge weight. Then, right on its heels at 36%, you have a massive number of creators who are seriously thinking about just quitting. And then 27% are just drained by creative fatigue. You know, that constant relentless pressure to always be on, to be original and engaging. So what's the typical advice you hear? Just hustle harder, post more, be on every single platform. But you know what? That approach, it's a trap. It's a completely flawed strategy that doesn't prevent burnout. It actually makes it happen faster. Yeah. At the core of this whole hustle myth is this idea of omnipresence. It's this belief that to make it, you've got to be everywhere at once. Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, the list goes on. But all that does is spread you way too thin. And you start getting less and less back for your effort as you try to juggle the totally different demands of each and every platform. And this quote right here, it just perfectly illustrates that paradox we've been talking about. There's actually a psychological concept behind this. It's called cognitive load theory, and the idea is actually pretty simple. Our brains only have so much bandwidth. So when you push harder and harder to do more, trying to avoid a drop in quality or engagement, you just overload your brain. And then what happens? Your performance gets worse everywhere. The very thing you're terrified of is the exact thing you end up causing. So what's the smart alternative? Well, it's not about doing more. It's about doing less, but doing it way, way better. It's something called channel focus mastery. The strategy is simple. Find the one platform where your people, your audience, are the most engaged, and then pour like 80% of your energy into absolutely dominating that one channel. It's all about strategic depth, not just being spread thin everywhere. Okay, so let's look at how this strategy starts to build a whole new mindset. A mindset for success that you can actually sustain. Because this isn't just about little tactics, it's about completely changing the way you see your role as a creator. There's this great term for it from the entrepreneur Eben Pagan. He calls it the modern guru. Now, this has nothing to do with being some big celebrity or influencer. It's about becoming a super focused expert, someone who solves one very specific problem in a tiny little niche. You're not trying to be everything to everyone. You're the go-to person for a very select group of people. And here's the absolute crucial point. This is the pivot. The single biggest mistake most creators make is that they try to sell themselves. Their personality, their expertise, their life story. But the monoguru, they flip that completely on its head. You stop selling what you know, and you start selling the actual tangible result or the solution that your customer is going to get. See how that shifts the focus? It's not about your ego anymore. It's all about their outcome. So this new mindset becomes the bedrock, the foundation for building a system that delivers value. And that system doesn't begin with your awesome product idea. Nope. It starts with genuinely understanding what your customer actually needs, and importantly, what they're willing to pay for. And to do that, you got to develop what might just be the single most profitable skill in all of business: empathy. You literally have to get out of your own head and try to step into your customer's shoes. What are their real day-to-day frustrations? What words do they use when they talk about their problems? What are they really truly hoping for? And you know what? You can validate any niche idea with this super simple 3-question test. First, is there real emotion behind it? We're talking intense pain or maybe an irrational passion. Second, are they already out there right now actively looking for a solution? And third, do they feel like they have very few options or maybe no good options at all? If you can answer yes to all three, boom, you've found a problem that's absolutely worth solving. Okay, so once you've found that need, you've validated it. Then you can finally build a business that scales the smart way. This is all about creating systems that bring in more and more revenue without demanding more and more of your time and energy. It directly attacks the root causes of burnout. And there are two key strategies for doing this. First, you have the offer stack. That's where you make a single purchase feel like an incredible deal by bundling in a bunch of bonuses and add-ons with your main product. And second, you've got the value ladder that creates a long-term relationship, a journey for your customer. You start them off with something low-cost and easy, and then you guide them up to your more premium high-ticket offers over time. So let's put it all together. Channel focus mastery. That cuts down your workload. The modern guru mindset. That keeps you from getting creative fatigue because you're so focused. And the offer stack and value ladder, that creates sustainable income, which directly fights that financial stress. You see, every single piece of the system is designed to take on a root cause of burnout. When it all comes down to it, the way to really win in the creator economy isn't about trying to out-hustle everybody. It's about building a smarter, more focused system. A system that delivers incredible value to a very specific audience, which in turn is what sustains you both financially and creatively for the long haul. So the question I want to leave you with isn't how can I do more? The real question is this: what single, specific, urgent problem are you going to become the absolute best in the world at solving? Because the answer to that question, that's the key to building a business